same feature recognition problem, except that I will be using automatic tab. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is to open the SDP file. File, open. Here is the SDP file. And of course, this is what we created before. All right. In the first and second video, I used the manual feature recognition, which is right here. This one is the automatic feature recognition. Remember, the first thing that you get is this warning message, because when you do feature recognition, you have to be in the current branch should be the dumb solid. So we say, okay, that means that you put the cursor there, right click, work in object, or in work object. And now click on the automatic feature recognition. When it comes to automatic feature recognition, these are the only things that are done automatically: holes, fillets, and chamfers. Now, I don't have any chamfers, but I'll activate it. Let's see what happens. And we say, OK. So notice that here's what happened. The edge fillet, remember on this side, on the right side, that's recognized. There were two holes here that were recognized. And that's pretty much it. There are no chamfers here. So these paths cannot be done with automatic feature recognition. So now we have to do that manually. You click on this, and let's do the paths. Here's a path, for example, this one. That's recognized. Again, path. That guy. Say OK. Another path. Let's do this pocket. Let's do the path here. Path. This one. In the previous video, I first looked at this pocket, but let's look at this path first. Okay, there we are. Notice that if we go this route, this feature is not recognized as a pocket, because basically we're just looking at this path. Okay. Now when I did the video in the segment 2, video segment 2, I also recognized this pocket. So I did this pocket first and then this path. Notice that what happened is the dumb solid disappeared because the entire thing has been recognized now. Now, if you want to look at all the features that we kind of deactivated or recognized, we select the part body and say defining work object, and there is everything that we started with, and we can change any one of these. Now, at the end of the other video segment, what I did is I went to this last path. This last path, double click on it. I changed this thing to 6, and notice that some of these things disappeared. That's because this this hole was this pocket. Is it this one? Yeah, it was not really. It was not a hole, but it was actually a. Well, let's see now. This thing stopped there, so I can actually double click on this thing and make it bigger. So, no, sorry, that's the diameter. Let's go here. Length of it, depth of it. If I go far enough, then I can make it appear from this side. Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to remind you what happened here. So this was automatic feature recognition. It does the pocket, not the pocket. It does the whole chamfer and fillets automatically. Now, let me close this thing. Let me close this. By the way, you can save this thing as a new file. You could have saved this Catia part file as a new file, okay, which I didn't do. What I would like to do is to go and open up my Catia part file. Let me see. This is the one. This is the part file, okay? It's not the SDP. I want to add some surfaces and lines and things like that. For example, let's make a point. Let me make a point here. Here's a point. Let me give it some coordinates. Okay, there, that point, for example. And I'm going to make a line between this point and that vertex. There we are. Okay, so there, that's a line in space. And let me make some surfaces. For example, I go to wireframe and surface design, or generative shape design, and let's create some extruded surfaces. For example, I'm going to take this edge and extrude it in the X direction, reverse the direction, so we create some plane here. So another one, another surface, for example, I don't know, maybe extrude this surface. Or actually, you know what, yeah, okay, extrude that surface in the direction Z. Okay, so we have some points and some lines and things like that. So I'm going to create an STP file for this. Okay, so first of all, let's save it as a part file. I didn't have to do that because all I want to do is an STP file. So file, save management, this thing that we did the modification in, I'm going to save it as STP, and I'm going to call it video 3, right? Video 3. So this is the third step file that I'm creating. All right, I'm going to close this. I'm going to close that, and now read that STP file. Open. Third one. Notice what happened is that the dump solid is here, and all these wireframe entities such as surfaces and planes, surfaces and line and point, they're all put into the geometrical set. Now this reddish thing means that there is no history here. Okay, you don't know how you created these. So if I double click, for example, on the point, I cannot change the coordinate as it is. You can see that. You see this? I cannot change the coordinate. Now, my let me show you again. Right there, you cannot change the coordinate the way it was. But now, of course, if you change the using pull down menu, if you change it here, then you can change the history from there. So, for example, I can make this thing like so. But notice that now the line that used to go to that point, it doesn't know that. So the history of it is lost. In other words, how was this line created? That's lost. Okay? Of course, you can redo it. In other words, look at the line definition. Not explicit, but from point to point, this point, and that point. My comment was that these are all transferred, but the history is completely lost. By the way, you can extract surfaces here if you want to. For example, although this is a dump solid, but you can still extract certain surfaces. For example, where's the extraction? Let me see. It's I believe it's. Let me see. It's right there. Extract. You can extract multiple surfaces. For example, you can extract this, and that, and that, and that. There we are. So well, this is kind of useful. Let me close this one more time. Let me close this thing one more time. By the way, I did mention this thing a few minutes ago, but I said that you can save this thing, file, save management, save as, let me call it, excuse me, video 3 CAD part. Say OK. I can close that. And if you go and open this, you get your surfaces and the dump solid back. But what I want to show you is something else here. If I go and open up this part file, which I added the surfaces to it, okay? Let me show you what happens if I make a save here as an STL file, not STP, STL. So file, save management, save as, video 3, I'll call it video 3. Video 3, but the format is going to be IGS. And we say OK. And we save it. Alright, so I'm going to close this. Start and open that IGS file. So file, open. There's the IGS file right there. See that? Let me remind you what happened. We had the solid part and we had a couple of surfaces and lines and things like that. One line and one point. And I saved that information as an IGS file. Now I'm going to open it up. So what you're going to see is that all the surfaces of the dump solid and the ones that are created, surface and line, have been transferred. IGS files are when you want to transfer surfaces between two platforms. Okay, the solid is lost, but all the wireframe entities and surfaces are transferred here. Now notice that the history of it is lost. This is the one that I hit. The history of it is lost, but you can always go ahead and modify them by, for example, if I look at this thing, right click definition, not edit formula, I'm sorry, right click, where is the, you can modify this thing appropriately. So I'm not going to bother with this because my goal was to do a few segments on STP files, how to transfer solids and identify features, and also here I'll just show as a byproduct, in case you're dealing with surfaces, you can actually transfer it as an STL file. Now I don't know, that's okay, we leave this thing for later. Alright folks, so I hope that you have, well maybe I will do one more feature